moved your parents when they were growing up to be available to your grandchildren. That's why I explain it to people. That's what passing on this cultural heritage is. And it's a privilege to work in this kind of field. Anybody have any questions about the Packard campus or the Library of Congress?
Can you ever request a film?
Yeah, actually, let me give you my card, and you can contact, it's the Reading Room in Washington, which is what I'll refer you to. It's basically, it's a staff in Washington who answer phone calls, emails, letters, and they will look up if you're looking for a particular, I think you were mentioning your husband was on Password, a particular TV show in the 60s, to see if we have a copy. Now, we don't have everything, but we do have more than anybody else, but it's kind of frightening to think about it. When it comes to silent movies, only about 10 or 15% of them survive. 85% has been lost forever. Movies made before World War II, 50% of them are gone. Sound recordings, 80% of the stuff that was made before the 60s is gone. They just can't get it back.
Our book club read a story, 84 Charing Drive, I think.
Oh, yes, 84 Charing Cross Road.
Yeah, and it was a movie, and we thought it would be so neat to be able to see it.
Yes.
Is that ever possible?
What to request it to play at our theater? You can request it. We are working our way through our collection. Unfortunately, we have about 30,000 titles, so I can't guarantee it'll be this year. But we will. What we do is when people request things like, I think we had to get like 50 people who want to see Sergeant York before we finally played it. Get your whole book club to request it. Maybe we can
Sign it a bunch of times.
I will tell you, though, it is pretty easy to get off of like Netflix or Blockbuster, but it's a good film.
It's fun to see it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if we play it, maybe I can get you up on stage to tell me about the book.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
What's the website for the music?
For the music, well, the website for the library is real simple. It's www.loc.gov. Just LOC for Library of Congress, GOV for Government. That'll take you to the main page, and on the main page, it'll mention what other collections we have, like the music website. It's the National Jukebox. You can either go to the music website, Music Reading Room, or the National Jukebox, or even do a Google search. I'll tell you, when we're doing research, it's become so easy when we use the internet to just type in, I'm interested in the Library of Congress Music Jukebox, put that in Google, and it will bring up the website. And there are 20,000 songs. You can just click and listen to song after song. Now, most of them the songs are from 1890 to 1920, but you'd be surprised at how many of those standards get played again and again and again. And they're fun. They're fun to listen to. And it's free. And there's a lot of early films that are on the website, too, that you can look at for free. Any other questions? Yeah.
Is Mount Pony the name of the mountain that the building is?
Mount Pony is technically not a mountain. It's a mount. It's the highest hill in Culpeper County. During the Civil War, it traded hands like 7 or 8 different times. General Armstrong Custer actually brought his wife there on their honeymoon. They were married nearby, and they came up on top of the mountain, and he pointed out to her, there was like 10,000 Yankee soldiers in the valley below at that time that he was in charge of. I wish I could give you a tour of the whole facility. You can kind of tell I've done this before. One of the things I do is I give tours, and I try to point out the Civil War status. But it's basically less than 3 miles south of town, right off of Route 3. You can see it from 29 when you drive by. Yeah. Yes, young lady?
I was just going to say give them directions because, a lot of times I discovered people just they see it up there and they don't know what it is and how to get there because there's no signs really. So.
Yeah, well, you can see the mountain, but okay, if you're going 29 north, if you're going past Culpeper, you see the turnoff where the building is. Go ahead and take that exit.
At 3?
Right.
At Route 3, yeah. And you'll, pardon?
3 and 522.
3 and 522 at that intersection. You'll take a right when you're sitting below the building. There's a traffic light. You take a right, and it's an immediate left. And what's confusing is there's pine trees there, and you can't quite see the building. You have to drive. Well, that was kind of intentional because back when it was a Federal Reserve and they had billions of dollars, we visited just after they removed the money. They used to use forklifts to move the money around, pallets of money. So they didn't want it to be real easy to find. So take a right at the light, immediate left between the pine trees, and as the road curves around, you'll see a stone gate that says Library of Congress, and the gate opens up. It's like 45 minutes before the showtime. You drive to the right up a little curved driveway. There's a nice big parking lot, beautiful view of the valley, great sunset you can see up there. And once you find it, you never forget it, because this 204-seat theater with the red velvet seats and the state-of-the-art chandeliers and cameras and equipment and projectors, it's a wonderful way to see. We just did like Citizen Kane recently.
We'll talk about what we're showing this week.
Singing in the Rain, Maltese Falcon. We played Gone with the Wind like 3 times.
Age limits? Age limits?
The films, most of the stuff we play are good old classics, but as it'll say on the flyers and on the website, if it's rated R, we do ask you to leave the kids, we're under 17 at home. Occasionally we've gotten in trouble. We played an R-rated film. People didn't know that until they got there. We don't have a budget to really advertise. We can't buy ads and papers and stuff, so check the internet, check our flyer, read the description.
But there's always one kids matinee a month. This month it was the Iron Giant at 2 o'clock on Saturday. We always have, and next month it'll be Huckleberry Finn with Mickey Rooney. A lot of times we have Disney, but it's one Saturday
We
a
try to mix
month.
it up. Little science fiction, a little horror, little westerns, little musicals.
No.
No popcorn. Unfortunately, well, David Packard said when he paid $300 a yard for that carpet that is so beautiful inside the theater, no food, no drink. We don't sell any. We don't have a concession stand. We don't charge overpriced for popcorn. We ask you not to bring in food or drink. We don't want to ruin the carpet or the seats. Ask you not to talk during the film. It's really strange. You go to a movie, downtown. People are texting. They're talking. They're ruining the experience. We're here for the film, and afterwards we'll talk about it, but not during it. Tomorrow night we're playing a 50s TV show called Playhouse 90, starring Linda Darnell. On Friday night, Wild River with Montgomery Clift, Lee Remick. That's a great story about the TVA if you've never seen it. And on Saturday night, Richard Dix in a Western romantic comedy called Woman Handled. Sounds like an appropriate title for a ladies' club, Woman Handled. The week after that, Lady Hawk, which is a fantasy adventure film. The Friday night film, that's kind of hard to recommend because it's both foreign and a little bit violent with gangsters. If you like that stuff, though, it's available. The last film of the month will be Hurricane. It's a John Ford adventure romance. Dorothy Lamour in her, Sarong. This was the film that made her famous. So if you want to see a great special effects film about a hurricane. And I want to plug something from next month because I've been working for a couple of years to get it on. The end of April, we are doing a tribute. We're going to play Mockingbird, To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah. And we're playing on Harper Lee's birthday. And I'm trying to get somebody connected to the film to come. That's not official because I'm not supposed to do that, but I do it anyway. Any other questions?
Do you need to make reservations then?
Ooh, good point. You get a gold star.
And a reservation, right?
On the flyer, there's not only the address, which you can look on the internet for a map. There's also a telephone number to make sure that people get a seat. We have a real simple system. You call between 9 o'clock and 4 o'clock Monday through Friday. You say you want to come to tomorrow night's Playhouse 90. There'll be 3 people in your party. Your last name is Jones. That's all you've got to do. Name of the movie, the date, how many people in your party. And we put you on a list. That's to make sure you've got a seat when you get there. If something like Gone with the Wind plays again and it sells out in an hour, we will then announce that we don't have seats available. But if you call and on the recorded announcement, they say we're playing these movies on these dates and we have available seats, you can get a reservation. Once you leave your message, you're guaranteed a seat.
10 minutes before showtime.
10 minutes before showtime. We basically, if you don't have a reservation, you can come on in. So actually, you can come see anything. But some of the popular stuff will sell out fast.
And what's the earliest you can make a reservation for?
A week ahead.
1 week in advance. If you want to reserve something for next Friday, you have to wait till this Friday to call. Yeah. It's kind of sounds like a convoluted system, but they tried to come up with something to keep it fair, to make sure everybody would have a chance to get in.
Now this week, I know none of the shows are going to sell out, so if you decide at the last minute to come on. Please.
That's who takes the reservation. Designs the flyers. That's my better half. Any other questions? You're keeping me on my toes.
I'm trying.
Well, it's a fun place to work. It's 30 miles up the road. Come and see me, say howdy. It's been a privilege chatting with you a little bit about what we do at the Library of Congress. We'll leave some flyers here so you
Yeah.
can share some.
I always keep some in my purse if you go, go to the barber or something. You can give them. When you're at the dentist office, so.
And I'll tell you what, I'll leave you the DVD if anybody wants to watch it, because it's an extra copy. There's, I didn't play it on there, but for those who are really hungry to know more, there's an hour-long tour by my boss, also on that DVD he did for the local public television show, where he took them behind and shows them every room, every piece of equipment, everything that goes on there. An hour-long tour, but it's yours. You can just do with it as you want.
No loose bills floating around.
We've looked.